Good morning, Central Texas. Welcome to Kids Community Connections at My Kids 1031. This is Phyllis Jones, your host for this morning. And, I got to do the community step on your feet thing, first. So I need to do that. But I'm going to do it in the form of why we're here today. Last week, we had a forum, a speak out for our youth in high school and in middle school. And I was going to have it on the show, and I was going to actually replay it, but the kids got kind of deep, really deep, and their emotions started. So I realized at that point it would be our job, the people that was on the panel, to tell you what we felt and what we heard. The one thing I'm going to tell you is that the village that we thought we were building, we need to go back to school because obviously we failed. The village we have been building was built out of toothpicks and bricks. That's the village we've been building. According to talking to these kids and listening to them last week, my impression is just that. We've been doing that. So we need to learn how to remove the toothpicks from those bricks that we got on, because we know what happens when we build it that way. And our kids let us know that. But it's another thing that we have been doing. We, as adults, when our kids ask for something, it should be an immediate turnaround, because kids don't know what next month is. Because for a child, next month they've lost 3 friends. Somebody's got pregnant, shot, robbed. Their life changed in over a month. So when we plan things as adults, accidentally, we're bad at it anyway. Let's go through that. Adults, when we plan something, we plan until the plan is dead and people fall off the ship and nobody's tired of it, nothing like that. But when the youth, I talked to Winetta, and she's here talking to me, and I've talked to Calvin and Craig, and he's here. Sorry about that. And I heard them talk about the kids, and and Winetta was telling me, the kids want to talk. They want to talk, so I not only listened to her, I heard what she was saying. And then I've talked to some of the kids. So, I called her on a Saturday about 3 weeks ago today. It would be 3 weeks ago today. And I said, okay, we're going to do it. She goes, when? I gave her the date. She goes, no, we can't do it that way. It's 2 weeks from now. Yes, I can. She goes, I gave her the date, the time. She said, well, we're going to have it. I'm like, I don't know yet. I got that. I'll let you know Monday. That Monday, I told her the time. Wednesday, I told her the panel. And we did it. She still thinks I'm crazy today. But for me, when kids ask for something, that's how you need to do it. We need to do it just that way. We don't need to hold it next month. We don't need to have a thinking. Forget all that. Because like I said, their life changes faster than we think and that we know. So when our kids ask for something, don't plan the plan to make the plan to, don't do that. Don't do that, because then, like I said, the days that we don't do it, the further we push it away, the more they think you don't care. And they do. They think you don't care. And I would say I'm an expert at that because I work at elementary school, and when we tell the kids I'm going to do something for you tomorrow, they come right up to you. Okay. They don't know what I was running late. They don't know any of that mean. All they know is mean I need this right now. You said you got it. You got it. They don't care if you walk in with your arm in a sling and on a crutch. They don't care. But because they're kids, and like I said, their future, their tomorrow and tomorrow is actually shorter than we think. So we did the forum, and a lot of kids showed up, which was great. But what I want to talk about is I'm going to ask the panel, everybody here, and first you're going to introduce yourself, and then we're going to talk about, but I want to know, Craig, you weren't there, but you were there the day that I came to your school, so you still know the kids and what we're going on. So you're not out of the loop, you're still in the loop. But I know when we all walked in, we had one mentality when we came in, but I want to know the mentality we had when we left. So I'm going to talk to Anna first. Good morning, Anna. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm blessed.
So when you came in, what was your thoughts?
When I came in and we went into this kid university,
right,
I thought they were going to talk about after school programs and how joyful and how great the center's being received in our community. And when I left with my head down. With my head down because these children have issues that the parents are the main topic. Mm-hmm. Whether mom and dad are too busy, mom and dad don't have the time to talk to me even when they are not busy. And I felt really bad for that to be going on in each individual household. I understand everybody has careers and responsibilities and bills have to get paid, But nevertheless, these children, they cannot raise themselves, and there is no center that can provide what the children need, which is from their parents.
So do you think we have a lot of work to do as a community?
Absolutely.
Good. And you're from?
My organization?
Yes, ma'am.
From LULAC, which is League of United Latin American Citizens.
Because we all need to know that we're not doing this as just, we're doing it as individuals, but we also bring more with us to the table when we're doing it. That's important that people to know that, yes, Anna Luisa was there. Yes. But Anna Luisa can go back to LULAC and say, hey, these are some things going on. So I think it's important that people know that we're working together as a community, groups of community, and we're bringing all of our resources in to do what we need to do.
Yes, because this community is everybody.
Yes.
And because it's a League of United Latin American Citizens, you don't survive on your own. You have to take care of everybody, and everybody is welcome to be part of it.
Yeah. Okay. Kwanda. Good morning.
Good morning.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Same question. When you walked in, how'd you feel when you walked in, and when you left, what was there?
My name is Kwanda Poke, and first I come as a concerned citizen. I'm also a member of Texas Save Our Youth, which is a human trafficking organization, as well as Killeen Democrats. I too can wear many hats and been known in the community for different organizations. But when I first walked in, my first thought process was that we're going to hear youth, and they're going to talk about soft issues. They're going to talk about, maybe some troubling stuff going on in school. May not touch as much as what's going on in their household. But when I left, it was a different aspect. The youth did talk about problems that are going on in their household. They're talking about problems that are going on in the school district. We even touched a little bit on political aspects, because those political areas that can make changes to better their life is something that the youth are aware as well. So I walked out of there knowing, one, that we need to be better listeners. Parents need to be better listeners. Teachers need to be better listeners. The other area that I walked out and realized that as adults, sometimes we take the authoritarian disposition, and sometimes we need to pull that back a little, because these youth actually have solutions. But because of their age, or because the people that are around them that are not listening, that their conflict resolution skills are held to a minimum. So the youth have solutions. They want to talk about it. We as adults can help them progress and take care of a lot of their issues. We can't 100% take care of everybody's issue, but we are failing these youth. And as adults, whether we're parents, whether we're community, just concerned citizens, we need to let down some of the baggage and open up to our youth, hear them, and figure out how we're going to solve some of the issues. The one area also to the last was the youth talked about how they're handled in the school districts when there's an at-risk situation. And they really, really talked a lot about how they're sent off to some of the alternative schools. And so some of the issues are not properly identified, that some of those youth should not be at the alternative schools, because you're putting them in an environment that possibly can be making their situation worse, when we're supposed to be putting them in an environment that we're supposed to mentor them to improve upon what they're going through.
That's true. That's true. Travaris, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Good morning. It's an honor again to be here. And I'm Brother Tavares. I'm the Director of Community Relations for the Village United. And for me, it was a very, very enlightening experience. Having had an opportunity to be a disadvantaged youth, and then having had an opportunity to work with disadvantaged youth, when I walked into the room to see the composition of the room as far as civic leaders, concerned citizens, and then the children themselves, it was fulfilling. It was like self-fulfilling to hear some of the things that they were experiencing still in 2018, understanding where I came from as I was listening to it, and I was thinking in the 1988 range of my own experiences. It was very, very heart-wrenching to listen to some of the testimonies of some of the children, and to realize that we still, as parents, haven't figured out how to address the needs of our children, as if we entered into a wobble or a time warp where we've arrived to a new level of understanding or a new reality, and we've just completely forgotten about our children. However, I had an opportunity also on Monday to attend an event that was hosted by Mr. Lavalis Hamilton from the Youth Advisory Committee at the Killeen Community Center, and I talked to another group of children, and that group of children were markedly different from the group of children that we spoke with on Saturday. So what it highlighted for me was that our children are raw material and they all have a potentiality. However, if we as parents and citizens and civic leaders fail in our responsibility to cultivate the youth, then what happens is that they grow into dysfunctional behaviors and attitudes because of our lack of awareness or our negligence relative to developing them. So now that can't be said for all of the children in this environment, and that's what I'm trying to highlight. It can't be said for all of the children in this environment, but it's a large enough quantity of children that if we don't address it appropriately, then it could potentially spread throughout the entire generation. And all of those children deserve to have an opportunity to be loved, cared for, comforted, and developed the way that they deserve to be. And I think you're absolutely right, Ms. Phyllis. Our children have solutions. And what we have to be able to figure out how to do is, as adults, listen to the solution and then guide them, because they have solutions, but they ain't got wisdom. So, and as a parent, I understand that having had raised children in this particular environment, our children are strong, our children are brave, our children are courageous, but they still lack a developmental element that have come with our experience. And it's our responsibility to listen, give them that experience, and then cultivate them so that they can become tomorrow's leaders.
What are some of the things as a male? Because I'm picking on you on purpose because you're a male.
Absolutely. I wouldn't expect anything else when I walk in here.
Okay, some of the kids were talking about other kids couch surfing, and a lot of the males are couch surfing. So as a male, what does that let you know our men need to do? Craig, don't feel bad. You're going to be on this one too. Well, because that's a serious issue with our males.
Yeah. Well, and like I shared when we were at the forum, I had a best friend. He was a couch surfer. He might as well lived at my home, and he pretty much raised himself. That kid would go from park benches to abandoned cars to his mother had a little heroin addiction, so sometimes he'll stay at home, but a lot of time he spent a lot of time at my home. And I'm a high school dropout. Now I've entered military service. I've got degrees and all of that kind of things. But at that level of development, I failed at that level of development. But the couch surfer graduated on time because he had a certain level of determination that was inside himself, and then just having an environment that he can come into and feel safe periodically gave him what he needed in order to be able to push through some of the adversities that he was facing in his life. So now, as a man, when I hear about situations like that, it compels me to want to get with other men so that way we can craft the environment so that way we can identify those things and give the children a place. And I know I was made aware of Mr. Rodney Duckett. He's doing a wonderful initiative in order to be able to provide homes and housing to some children that are in this environment. And I think these are the initiatives that we need to take on and the discussions that we need to have as men. We need to come together and say, hey, in our environment, there are X amount of children that require X amount of living space, and this is what it's going to require. It takes nothing away from us to be able to figure out how to pool our resources in order to craft environments where the child can know he have a group of individuals that care. And I think that when the child, especially our young boys, when our young boys know someone cares, it can mitigate some of the difficulties that they're facing, because we can't even imagine, we can't fathom some of the things that they've experienced up to this point in their life. And it'll make a brass monkey cry if they start to tell us the tales of the things they're experiencing. So if we can figure out how to come together and stop with all the simple conversation and have those conversations that are necessary for the development of our community, where can we get them? Where can we house them? What are the rules? What are the laws? What documents are required in order to craft that environment so it can be done legally and with justice? How can we get the individuals in the environment that are going to provide care and concern and not just be there for a buck, but they're there because they honestly are invested in the development of the children, and then compensate them appropriately? Then I think we can be able to craft the environment that our children need, and they deserve it.
Yeah, they do.
Yes,
they do. Okay, Craig, you see them every day.
Yes, ma'am.
Every day. Every day. So I'll put it this way. You weren't at the forum at the Speak Out. But no. It's okay. It's okay. Because my question for you is this. You see this every day, and you hear it every day. So where do you know to reach out to help the kids? Or do you need more men to say, hey, you know, guys, we need to come together and we need to get together and we need to have a real conversation, not a I can outman you conversation, but a real conversation.
Exactly. I know we had the opportunity a few months back where we had a group of gentlemen come in and volunteer that Saturday, and we kind of had a red robin around the room where these guys got to speak to gentlemen that they had never met before, but they shared their experiences, and just to see that influence in the room with those men coming together, speaking to them, letting them know that we're available and that we're willing to help, and going as far as we had the banquet, where the group of gentlemen bought suits and shoes, and we helped them pick them out, and those kids felt so good about themselves. I still hear about it today. We just started school here this past Monday. So, you know, the group of men is very important. I feel like there's simple things that we do every day as men that we should be teaching these boys, because they don't get it at home. A lot of them don't even have a father figure. Father's in jail, they don't know them. Mothers on drugs. So the situation varies, but these kids always reach out every day. I have probably 5-6 kids already, and school started this Monday, that have already come to me with issues at home. So it's very concerning, and I try to be the best role model I could be and reason with them and kind of go down to that level and listen long enough to understand what's really going on, how it's affecting them, and thinking of ways of how I can have my little influence with the short time I have with them at school.
You know, women, I'll say we women, we've done some things for... What ladies? Okay, excuse me, Miss Anna said we're ladies. Okay, but I'm, you know, ladies. Well, I'll put the other way of women rule the world. We rule the world. We do, but we did create it. But also we've built in things that men need to learn. Okay, we did it for domestic violence. We need to do it for our kids. And what I mean is this: if a woman calls Anna and she wants to get away from her husband who's been beating or abused her, Anna can call me. I'll call somebody. We will shift her around and get her out. Women will do that. We will shift her from here to here. You need a bus ticket? Okay, we will shift her out of Texas, out of Killeen. We've done that, and we get them to a safe place. We need to use that same system. We need to teach men that same system that we use for our young men. You know, Craig, you call Travaris. Travaris said, okay, this is my part. I got this. Travaris calls around till that young man is placed in a safe area, because it's not that he needs to be in a safe place. He needs to be in a safe place and area. Exactly. Because if I keep him in Killeen and he having issues in Killeen, I haven't done anything. I didn't do anything. Yeah, so what we need to do is that same way we do for women of domestic violence. We built it where we can get them out of the city, out of the state. So I think like I said, we women would teach you guys, and then it's not that we're better at it. We just did it because domestic violence is mostly women. So we had to build that underground you want passage that we built. So we need to teach men to do the same thing, and therefore you can help our young boys. Because now I'm not saying the girls are all great and secure, but our boys, we need to really, really help, because they're under attack. Our young males are under attack. Let's face it, tell the truth about it. They're under attack. They're expected not to go anywhere. They're expected to go to jail so that the private prison owners can make more money. So we know what's thought, but we need to build that underground for our young men so that we can get them in, out, escape, gone, and safe. That's just what we need to do.
Well, I agree, and I think that we have some channels that we're working on right now to do that. So with time we'll get better, but you know, we have to start.
Yes.
And that's a big deal. We have to start. We can't go have these kids go unnoticed or put them on the back burner too long, because like you said, if you promise them something yesterday, they're going to come to you tomorrow. Hey, where is it? Yeah. You know, you're supposed to help me. So that's a big deal. But, you know, that's something that we're working on right now here today on the radio. Yeah. Setting that up so we can help these kids a little further.
Cool. Okay. Joanne.
Yes, ma'am.
She like what? Good morning.
Good morning.
You served more roles than everybody did Saturday, because you became the comforting mother.
Yes, ma'am.
Saturday. So it's not a, well, yeah, so you got shifted a little bit there. You still on the panel, but when girls became where they couldn't, we knew they were breaking down, you went to them. So when you came in, what was your thought process when you first walked in the building? Bam, and then when you left out, what happened?
Well, when you invited me and you gave me the theme of the forum, I understood that we were there to listen. I know it was called I Speak, You Speak, We Speak, but I understood that I was there to listen, because I knew that, you said that these kids have some things they wanted to be able to voice to adults. And so I was there to listen. And when I was in that room and I tried to connect, because I don't have teenagers. I have a 9-year-old and I have an older. My daughter, she's grown. Yeah. And so I was trying to make sure that I connected with them because I wanted to be able to be in their space, you know what I mean, and actually listen. And to be honest, from what they were saying, that's the problem, that no one is listening to them. And so, like I said, they told their stories. They talked about, they wasn't, they weren't really talkative, but the fact is that they got some things off of their shoulders. You know what I mean? You could tell that some weight was released. And so as I'm listening to them, I'm understanding that, at my age, I mean, when I was their age, the world was different. It was completely different. There wasn't so much pressure. You have peer pressure, but all the things that are going on right now, I mean, their existence is completely different from mine when I was a teenager. And so I understood that. And as like I said, I'm sitting there listening to them and I'm connecting with them and I'm taking in all that. And, of course I was there, to make sure that as they're dealing with these feelings that, I want to provide them some comfort. And so I walked in and I knew we were there to listen. I listened and I got a little emotional, myself, understandably. I got a little bit emotional because in my eyes, I understand that there are things that we as parents can do. Right. And I have low tolerance, I mean, it's funny because the word accountability has been coming up I hear people talk about it and I think about it and it's one of the things that I know that is lacking. We as the parents of these teenagers, as the parents of any child, it's up to us to make sure that we are engaged at every level. We can talk, if our children have problems, they come home and they tell us and we have to listen, but at the same time we have to be engaged outside. If they're having a problem at school, we need to go down to that school. There are elections, there are school board elections, and I'm an advocate for voting. I put that out there. I am an advocate for voting. There's an election in Killeen every year for city council and all that, but there's also KISD school board elections that no one votes in. You know what I mean? I asked in that room how many parents in that room. There was a few parents. I asked how many parents in that room, participate in school board elections. I saw 2 hands, and that's shameful. So, like I said, the lack of accountability is the issue. If you are sitting in that room and you are talking and you're listening to these kids, but you're not going out to do something that can actually be done, something that can make a difference, you have to hold the school board accountable for the things that are going on in that school. I heard somebody say that there's a bullying program in the school, but it's not being managed effectively. You
have some campuses. You have some camp. You have the problem with, not to cut you off, but the problem with the bullying thing. I can address that because I work in schools. You have some teachers whose mentality of bullying is not what the district is saying. They'll say, "Oh, sit down. Oh, I'll move your seat. I'll move you from this seat in this row over there." So I didn't solve the problem. But that's my, but you have some teachers who, that's their solving of the problem because they really didn't care. Exactly. So let me just move you from over this row over to this seat back here and then leave me alone. Well, so we need to change. That's the mentality problem we have. Before school year was out, there was a boy, they were in the playground playing, and our kids were playing. But I saw this little boy hold this little boy up, and as he went to drop him, those of us who work special ed did what we weren't supposed to do. We're not supposed to touch regular ed children, but we did. We went and took the child down, You know, let him. You're not doing this today.
That's natural.
You know, we scared him half to death because he didn't know that we saw what he was doing or paid attention. But he had the kid up and he was going to drop him. You know, but we stopped that and we took him to the office and you know we wanted him nailed to the cross. You know, but people was the teacher, she was kind of you know. You know, we didn't understand none of that. All we knew was we needed to react, and we took the kid down and did what we had to do. But so we have to get the teachers to understand that they need to start caring and not just collecting a check.
Absolutely, but you know what? It starts from the top. It starts from the top down.
Yeah.
If you as a board member of the CAS, if CASD with their board the way it's set up, if you as a teacher in CASD, there are things that they make the rules, but then, like I said, we elect the people who make the rules. So if we don't put pressure on them, then this is going to continue. Right. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, to me, it's a lack of accountability. As parents, we have to start engaging and paying attention at every level. Every fight that can be fought on every front, that's what needs to take place.